Jump right in, although I just came from Foreign Affairs, so if I ask you a question totally off topic, you'll know my mind is still where it was 2 minutes ago. I wanted to start by asking you about the new FLORA's regulations. The Department of Health and Human Services has the opportunity to codify the best practices and improve the treatment of children who are in government custody through the FLORA's settlement. And I think you're working on new regulations and wanted to check in on how they're going, because it's so important that we treat children well.
Senator, we were just discussing the situation with children, the migrant children that are placed under our custody and then are released to a sponsor. We would agree with you. A child is a child, and we have to do our best with any child. And so we are going through that review. The FLORA settlement requires us to, one of the things that the FLORA settlement requires is that we find a placement for this child and not keep them in our custody any longer than necessary. And so we're going to be going through that. We want to thank Congress for the resources you gave us so that we could actually go about trying to ensure that there is some follow-up for these children, because once we have placed them in the care of a sponsor, we essentially lose custody of that child. And so the more authorities you give us, and of course the resources, the better we could do the follow-up with these kids.
I'm very pleased to hear it, and I introduced a bill, the Children's Safe Welcome Act, which we have shared with your team, which was designed to kind of lay out the gold standard, and I hope you'll take a look at that bill as you put these
We'll take a look
together. The next thing I wanted to address was to have you address vaping and the standards that are established for candy-flavored, fruit-flavored vaping. And this goes way back. When I first came to the U.S. Senate, Oregon and Ohio were the experimentation grounds for the tobacco industry for new products. And they had tobacco toothpicks, they had tobacco breast strips, and they had tobacco mints. And to tell you how far those go back, the mints were in a case that was shaped like a flip phone, a cell phone. So if you remember those ages, just 14 years ago. But none of those caught the market. But vaping did, and has led to the addiction of probably at this point millions of children. Time and time again, with both administrations, both Democratic and Republican administrations, we've failed to get the regulations in place to control this seductive strategy to addict a new generation of children to nicotine with really lifelong health consequences. So can you fill me in and tell me that this time will be different?
I want to tell you that absolutely will be different. I was the Attorney General in California, and we sued some of these vaping companies because we could prove that they were marketing to children. And so now as Secretary, we're taking every action we can. It's a partnership. We work with the Department of Justice to help us do the enforcement against these vaping companies. And as you know, there have been literally millions of applications by these companies to be able to sell different products. Unfortunately, every one of those applications has to be gone through thoroughly, otherwise we end up in court. And at this stage, the vast majority, substantially more than 9 out of every 10 of those applications has been disposed of. We still have several large ones, but as you know, Senator, we're now caught in court. The companies are using every tool at their disposal, including lawsuits, to keep us from moving forward.
Okay, well, I encourage you to persist aggressively given the consequences of failure, and we certainly have a deeply entrenched company or companies determined to keep addicting children. I heard a knock. Am I out of time? No.
You have a full...
I have a full minute.
50 seconds left.
Mr. Secretary, can you clarify whether or not Title V, the Maternal and Child Health Block grants funds, can be used for stillbirth prevention activities?
Senator, I'll confirm that, but I see no reason why it could not, but let me confirm that to you.
Okay, I'm going to keep working to pass the Maternal and Child Health Stillbirth Prevention Act to clarify in statute, but I think you already do have the power, and I think it's a very important area to be pursued around the country. Thank you so much.